What's good, everybody? This is Ace. Here, as always, my partner Mark, and we are about that sports life. You know what we came to do? We're about to talk some sports, but before we get into that, what's good, man? How's life?
And I'm straight dealing with this snow. So we all got right now, but at least we know how to we're used to it up here, so we're not going through it. Some people are the rest of the country. So I hope people in Houston and the rest of Texas get out of this thing quickly, get back to their normal lives. Well, it's
Yeah, it's
closer to
funny.
normal than COVID.
Yeah, I guess everything is relative because like when I heard like they had a snowstorm and it's like they had a power and then I'm like, all right, they cool though, right? And everybody's like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, they're not good. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like we so used to it like that. It's like it's not really a big thing for us. But I'm guessing if you was in Houston and never gotten snow, some people in their whole life
Whole life, yeah.
having a blizzard and losing power is a big deal. So
Yeah. Well,
prayers to them. I hope everything gets cleared up.
what it shows is that they weren't even like building homes with the idea of that happening. Like you see,
Exactly.
like some of the roofs caving in, you got the pipes freezing. Like that just means there's no real insulation in the homes. But if you live in a place where you don't expect it to be but 40 degrees in the winter, you're not gonna build for that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like I feel for them. Like just thinking about it like that. But it's like if like I said, you kind of desensitized living where we live.
live where you live, yeah,
Anywhere in the Northeast, you're gonna be like, they cool, man. Just
yeah.
clean that snow up and wait for the power to get back on. You'll be all right. But obviously, that's not the case. But a lot of people coming to their aid. A lot of athletes are aiding them, um, which is that's great to see, man. It's always good to see people hop into action. Even if the people that's supposed to, like the government, they wasn't necessarily prepared or quick enough to act. It's good to
Hmm.
see, others, act and, do things to help people out. Cause, apparently, there's a lot of people down there suffering, in a bad way. So,
Yep.
yeah, but me, I just went out there and clean my little area up, my little driveway, my little sidewalks, good to go. Like, like I said, this is old hat. I mean,
Yeah, we used to this. Nothing new.
it's like a third, in the last what month?
So this month we got the most snow we've had in a couple of years. Like remember,
Exactly.
like
That's what I'm
last
saying.
couple of winters we wasn't getting snow. It was kind of odd.
Exactly.
I'm actually glad it's happening because
Yeah.
no, it doesn't mean global warming isn't happening. I hate the people that try to act like it's a farce, but at least shows that we're not so far gone with it that
Exactly. We still get
that
seasons. We still got
yeah,
seasons.
yeah,
My kids still get to go and play in snow. Like,
exactly. But the fact that Houston got hit with a snowstorm should tell everybody something's not
yeah, that's
right.
weird. That's weird.
Something's not right. You cannot ignore this. Al
Yeah,
Gore
that's
tried to
weird.
tell us in 2000.
Yeah.
We in 2021.
Yeah. We still act like it ain't. Some people act like it ain't
Yeah.
nothing going on.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, hopefully they're able to get out from that pretty quickly. I like the way I see it. If it's not normally that cold, hopefully they get a weather change pretty quickly.
And then it
That
melted.
should
Yep.
clear things up. They should be all right. Hopefully. But on to sports news. First big thing I guess we can really mention is they just maybe an hour ago just
Yep.
announced the All Star starters. Um, so we definitely having an All Star game next month. They moving full speed ahead, and voting happened already. And we got our starters, we got our captains first of all. So um, you got captain of the West is going to be Braun as usual. New captain in the East this year, we got KD.
Mm.
So that should be cool. Um,
Yeah, it's the first time KD's done it. Before it was Giannis twice, and then it was Steph Curry twice. LeBron's done it
yeah,
every
exactly. Braun has been the
year.
captain every year this has been going on. So
Mm.
the vote the voting kind of went to me pretty much chalk, pretty much what we would have expected. Um, couple little to me a little not controversy, but a little contentions. For the West, we got Bron, of course, Steph and Luca in the backcourt, and then Kawhi and Jokic in the front
Mm-hmm.
court. I mean, to me, the only thing that jumps out is you look at Luca. As good as Luca is, I mean, you can say arguably Dame has had a much better year.
Yeah,
Um,
and his
and
team
his
has a
team
better
is
record.
exactly.
Yeah, Dame was who I voted for. Everybody else was the same. I had Dame, and Steph in the backcourt, and I had LeBron, Kawhi, and Jokic. Like I seemed like felt like everybody except for that point guard Dame Luca thing was pretty much a lock. I don't see how you could vote for anyone but those four. Um, but I know Luca has a whole country behind him voting for him, and that's how you see things get swayed. But Dame will be on the team, and we all know that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. In a perfect world, would Dame be the starter? Yeah. But does it really matter at the end of the day? Probably not. Not
Nah.
really. Especially in the fact the way that the format it now, where you pick teams, it's not like it's gonna be it's the five representing the West and then the five representing the East anyway. So they'll be mixed
Mm-hmm.
up anyway. So then as far as the East, like I said, KD was the captain. Then you had in the backcourt you got Brad Beal and Kyrie Irving. Front court you got Giannis and Embiid. Like I said again, pretty much what you would expect. To me, the only thing that really kind of jumps is Beal. Not that he does not deserve the nod as a starter. Obviously, he does. He's the leading scorer in the NBA. It's just now with James Harden being in the East, you know, kind of thought that maybe with the voting, with the fan voting, they might have looked more at Harden. I mean, but shouts to Beal. Now he deserves it for sure.
Yeah, I had Beal in my couple ballots. I didn't see how you could leave him out with the way he's scoring this year. And if the Wizards win games, it's because of him. Like, yes, they haven't won many, but the 7 or 8 that they did win, most of the time it's because Bill went for 30 or more points and he made the impact. I do understand that, yeah, Harden has an argument. He always has an argument. He's James Harden. I do think that him getting traded there a few weeks into the season probably affected things a little bit because, you know, some people just not see it. Like if you saying, okay, the beginning of his year, he didn't do as much, you know what I mean? Even though that was in the West. But Bill's been consistent all year. Point guard wise, I understand Kyrie, and Kyrie probably does deserve it because of where the Nets are in the standings, and he's played for most of the season. But I personally have voted for Trae Young because I feel like Atlanta is making a rise. They're not a chump team anymore, and then Trae's their best player. Trae at any point could go for 50. Like he's a big time player, but just like Dame, he'll be in the game. Uh, Embiid, Durant, and who am I forgetting? Embiid, Durant, who's the other first front
Giannis,
court? Giannis
Giannis.
were all locks, no question about it. All those three was probably unanimous. Like I don't know how you can vote for anybody else unless you're trolling.
It's funny though. Remember when the trade for Trey and Luca was like almost seemed like a bad trade for like what maybe like 6 months because he start remember because Trey even started that his rookie season off a little shaky, but then when he got his footing, he really got his footing, and
Mm-hmm.
he ain't stopped since.
And
Like
he fits Atlanta more than Luca. I think they're both in the perfect situation.
yeah, like I said, it ended up the way it should be, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just funny to me that it's like you know it could end up like I said, Luca's looked like he's gonna still be a MVP candidate year in and year out. But
Yep.
it's like, can you really be mad about the trade at the end of the day? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, I mean, I think just because of Luca's ceiling, if the Hawks could go back, they might not have done it. Maybe. Um, but they didn't lose. You can't just say they
Exactly.
lost because Trey
Yeah, as
Young's
I'm
a
saying,
big time player. Also, if
it was a
anything,
win-win.
it's Phoenix taking Aiton, even though Aiton's been a solid player and he looks like he's going to continue to grow as a player. And the Phoenix is a better team. They're in the fifth seed right now in the West, I'm pretty sure. So no, that pick's not a bust pick or anything like that. But Ayton is not Luka or Trey Young. So that's really the question to me: is does Phoenix feel like they messed it up more, not think about that trade?
Yeah, and my thing is they could have definitely used Trey or Luca at the end
Or
of the
yeah,
day
they
because
both are point guards. Yeah,
yeah, point
that's what they
guard
needed.
was their need. So yeah, I mean,
A big man
it
was a
made
need too. I understand the Ayton
yeah
pick, especially at
at
the
the time,
time. It was the
especially yeah,
concern of Trey's size and Luca being a European. Sometimes they don't translate. So I get the pick at the time. And also, if Phoenix keeps growing in their every year playoff team while these three are in the league, they won't regret it either. But just looking back, when you regrade drafts and redo them, Luca would be the number one pick.
yeah, for sure, easy call. Um, so we'll move on from that. Ain't really that much to talk about All Star right yet. We're gonna get the reserves, and then of course then they
And
got to
that's when
pick.
we talk the snubs.
So that's when you really talk. So that's just it's good. It's some normalcy. So it's good to have
Hmm.
All Star teams. All looking forward to All Star weekend. You know, it just makes things feel a bit normal, and that's always good. Um, so as far as NBA, what I did kind of we talked the other day about the comments Draymond Green made, um,
Hmm.
and then kind of gave some thoughts on that, and then pretty much right after that, LeBron came behind that and kind of backed Draymond up a little bit, um, and it was just funny to me because it's almost like I can kind of see where the media or media that is discussing this, they kind of tread lightly because I think they kind of still don't know where the NBA is going to fall on this or if they're going to, comment on it. So I feel like when I see people actually reporting on it, talking about it, it's like it's funny to me because people usually, you watch sports media like I watch sports media. They usually have a take, a pretty
Hmm.
defined take that they really usually, you know, jump out there with, and it's like you see it, you're not really seeing it. I feel like a lot of
They
people are
tiptoeing.
kind of, yeah, exactly. That's the right word. That's what I'm looking for. I think like a lot of people tiptoeing around it, and I think it's been that way for a long time. And I think that's why Draymond said what he said.
Oh yeah, I think like you said, the media always wants to stay in good with the league side and the player side, so they don't want to seem like they're picking a side. You're gonna have guys like Shaq and Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley who don't care because they don't have to really pick a side. They're not truly the media.
Yeah.
Um, and you've heard them back Draymond and LeBron, like yeah, like players are get done wrong in these trade situations. Um, and not much you can really say against that. Like I don't see how anybody feels like they're not right about that. You know what I mean? Like the owners are allowed to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and no one says anything. But when a player speaks up about wanting to be moved from a bad situation, he's get treated like he's a malcontent or he's causing some big problem, and it's just ridiculous.
The people that I've heard comment on it media wise, they continue to go with the point of, well, the players are employees of the teams. But I'm like, okay, even if you are an employee and you're contracted, you still have the ability to, you know, renegotiate your contract without seeming like you're some type of a distraction or something like that. Um, in any employment situation, you have the ability to say when you're not happy or when you want something done or happen to move. Now, what depending on what your leverage is in a situation depends on whether or not it's going to happen for you. But
Hmm.
you have the ability to request it, like right or wrong. Like I feel like if I go to my boss now and say, I would like to, look at other opportunities in different departments, I would have an opportunity to do that. Like it's not like
Yeah.
they would look at me as someone that's not loyal to the company now all of a sudden
Hmm.
because I'm saying I don't want to, you know, so I feel like it's not applied the same way in sports. in sports, there's 30 teams under the guys of the NFL. If I'm an NFL employee, I should be able
32 in
to
the
look at
NFL.
32. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I should
30
be.
NBA. You were talking about the NBA. You had the
Yeah,
number
I
right
meant
there.
I meant to say NBA.
Yeah,
That's what I meant to say. So
you
if
had it
you
right.
if I'm an employee of the NBA, I should be able to look around. I mean, if I don't like where I'm at, like it doesn't seem too far off for me.
I mean, like you
Contract
said,
or no contract.
when you're at a job and the job is not fulfilling your needs, either financially or even like fulfilling your desires of what you want to do in a career, you're allowed to move and do whatever the heck you want when you want with no repercussions. And I know people like to say, oh, but yeah, sports is a job, but you can't look at it the same as our jobs. And I'm like, I understand that to a certain extent, yes. But at the same time, if one side of the business is allowed to fully treat it like a sport, like a regular job, why is the other side not allowed that? Like the owners
Exactly.
in the front office treat it like a regular job. If anyone wants to say differently, you've lost your mind. They treat it like a regular job. They will let
Yeah,
a player go in a second, just like your boss will let you go in a second with no thought about it. And they're just going to get somebody else. So the players
exactly.
should be able to have the same um type of pool. I guess not. I don't understand why so many people get so upset when their players try to exercise their power. And I respect guys that go out on the limb and do it. Like the beginning, we go back a little more. Like Reggie White started free agency in the NFL. He took a big risk doing what he
Mhm.
did. The Eagles lost him, and it was the Eagles' fault because he didn't really want to leave the Eagles. He just wanted to start free agency so players could have more chance. He was going to re-sign with the Eagles and keep it moving. Eagles owner at the time kind of felt disrespected, didn't offer him as great of an offer as he thought he was going to get. Green Bay did. He leaves. Now that starts a whole chain of where we're at now with free agency, the NBA. LeBron forces that deal to Miami. Players look and say, "Oh, okay, I got some more pull than I thought I did." Then you see what we've seen since then. Paul George did it. Kawhi did it. Anthony Davis did it. Like they should be allowed to have free movement like the other side does.
But that's what and you said something that's the thing that really to me is the root of the issue. When the team does it or the ownership does it or the organization does it, it's business. When the player does it, it's personal. Like why like it's always seen as something personal when a player wants to take their own their own destiny or their own career in their own hands. It's seen as them being disloyal in some type of way, which to me makes absolutely no sense. They're not saying that they want to leave the league and go play in another league. They're saying they want another team in the league.
Yeah,
So,
they ain't
so
trying to go to Europe.
yeah, they playing in the same league somewhere else.
Now that would be crazy though. If a player said, "Yo, I'm out. I'm going to Europe," that would be wild.
Yeah, that would start something. The last person, the player that did
Different.
something like that was Stephon Marbury because
We've had one since then. I thought you remember Josh Childress.
yeah. Okay,
Yes,
yeah, Josh Childress did
Childress.
do that.
He got 70 mil from one of them teams, but nobody in NBA giving him 70 mil.
Yeah, I remember that. That's yeah, I
Got
forgot about
low.
that. Yeah. Well, I mean, it has happened. There's precedence for it, but not a lot.
Not a star. Marbury did it when he had overrun his welcome in New York and other places.
Yeah,
Childress is the only one to kind of do it while he was still wanted. Like teams wanted him. Like he was a solid starting wing in the NBA, but he wasn't gonna get 70 mil.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
And
ain't
then
got that
70
money.
mil untaxed because of where it's coming from. Like that's a
Yeah.
little different. I gotta take that. I love the NBA. He probably was like, yo, of course I'm not gonna be seen. I probably have to
Gotta
move my
believe
family.
he thought he'd eventually get back though.
He did get back. He did. He played like 2 or 3 years after. Yeah. But at no point would he have made 70 mil. And that's what it's
Yeah,
about.
nah.
Like the team, yeah, you got to take that opportunity. So if one of these teams, like I really wish, I would really like to know, all right, let's take a young player who's on the rise. Let's say Zion, right? Zion's on the rise. Like he's a big time player. He's already averaging 25 in his second year. If a team overseas offered him $400 million over 5 years, what does he do?
Man, that's a tough man.
Like the NBA can't offer him that. They got a
Yeah,
salary cap.
yeah, but I say salary cap, but
Yeah,
without
a
that,
team would do it if they could, but you can't. Like, what do you do then? Like,
yeah, that'd
if
be
I,
tough.
that's a big one. Like, you are one of the bigger rising stars. Yeah, you'll get a max deal from an NBA team, and by the time his comes, it'll probably be routinely in that 220 range because we've seen Dame and Steph get 200. Um, but that's not four.
But I do think that NBA has agreements in place with these other leagues to kind of protect from things like that happening. Because I mean, I feel like if they didn't, we would see more of that.
I just think these other leagues don't think the players would do it.
Yeah,
I
I
just think
mean,
the NBA they feel like the NBA is the be all end all of professional basketball, so they feel like, hey, it doesn't matter whatever we offer them, they're going to stay over there. But I really believe a certain number could get anyone.
yeah, there's a number. If
There's a
that's the
number
case,
for
there's
anyone.
a number. Yeah, everybody got a number. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, we'll talk more about that sort of situation as we probably get closer to the trade deadline. 'Cause, we're gonna see some more of that. Guys getting shut down or guys wanting out, and even after the trade deadline, then you got buyouts, stuff like
Hold on,
that.
real
So
quick. Drummond, this stuff happened with Drummond at the beginning of the week, right?
mhm.
How long are they gonna do this? How long are they
Exactly,
gonna sit him out?
that's the but that's the point. That's
Yeah,
the point. Things
y'all
like
can
this
sit
drag
me as
out.
long as y'all want, but I can't do anything.
Exactly. That's the point. That's where it becomes like I could see if it was like, okay, this game, we're gonna sit you to get, you can't play, and then you
Yeah,
traded the next day or next,
exactly.
but before the next game. But
Yeah,
when it becomes weeks of this, that's when it becomes a little
it's
because the dude
ridiculous.
was averaging the double double, a high double double.
He probably had a chance, even though he was on a bad team, to still become an all-star.
Yeah, so like that's
And
detrimental.
now that's probably out the door.
Yeah, so
Like, it's a mess.
like he could potentially lead the league in rebounding. And,
Yeah.
things that matter when you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to negotiate contracts. Even though he does
Yep.
already
He
have
got
a
his.
good
Yeah.
nice contract, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's an interesting situation to follow. But like I said, Draymond is on to something with that, and Bron backing up. And another reason why I brought it back up is those two guys in particular commenting on it. That's not a coincidence. Like,
No, we know what Draymond's agency is.
yeah, that's not a coincidence. Those guys have some sway in the league.
Clutch and control. We know that.
Yeah, so
Like, what's my man Max Kellerman said it. Clutch tell you who go to the finals.
yeah, right.
Clutch make the finals happen. They tell you what team gonna get it. Say, AD want to go to the Lakers? Don't worry about it. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, so I
Contavious
mean,
Caldwell Pope, you a Laker? All right, we all coming. Thank God Ben re-signed.
yeah, we'll see, we'll see. We'll see how this you know shakes out as things go forward. But let's
I was
change gears a little
surprised.
bit.
We're gonna do that. I was surprised Tristan Thompson didn't go there.
To the Lakers
Mm-hmm.
or Clutch. He's
Well,
already
he's
with Clutch.
already with Clutch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
Surprised
I
he didn't
was
go to the
surprised.
Lakers.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
I
beginning of
never.
Clutch. People don't really know that, but he's the first.
Yeah,
He's
he was the
even
first one.
before. Yeah, like that's the
Yeah,
first
that's what I was
person
gonna
with
say.
Paul Son.
But
Yeah,
I was confused with him signing with the Celtics. I'm a Celtics fan, and it was like we signed Tristan. Is this right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I didn't get it. I didn't see where that would correlate it to me, but
Yeah, y'all needed a big after the Horford left. I think that kind of what they were trying to fulfill that role, but he's not really that player. But I think the Lakers they might have had interest, but Montrezl Harrell is better. And once you sign him, that's it.
yeah,
You don't need him.
yeah. That's Montrez basically a better version of what Tristan Thompson does.
Mm-hmm. And for all I know, Montrez might be a clutch player at this point too. I got to look it up. That
Yeah,
would be
right.
wild
You
if he
never
is.
know. They sign dudes all the time, so you never
Yeah,
really
they
don't
get
lose
dudes to
track at
get
this
out.
point.
They get dudes to drop their agent like that.
Yeah.
I love it though, because they played Rich Paul, and Rich Paul is letting them all have it right now.
Oh yeah, there's nothing you can say. You know, like
Nothing
nothing
you can
nobody can
say.
say. Nothing nobody can say about that.
I ain't gonna make a movie about Rich Paul one day. I promise
Word. It sounds like something that should be have a movie made out of it. Well, like I said before, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk a little tennis, man.
you.
Talk a little tennis. Big matchup yesterday. Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams. It was a lot on the line, man. It was a trip to the finals of the Australian Open on the line. It
Yep.
was, you know, possibly the what we call it, the throne, the mantle, the
That's what I think.
crown.
In my opinion, it was
Tennis.
the changing of the guards. Like I think she has started her era, even though she kind of had already started. This is not her first
Yes.
time beating Serena. She beat Serena in 2018 for the U.S. Open final, so she was already considered probably the best women's tennis player right
What,
now.
what
Anyway,
yeah.
but
But
when you do it on this stage, because this was a big one where Serena was playing at a big time level. Like she was
hmm
smoking chicks all tournament. And for the way Osaka beat her, to me, it's like there's no question. Like that chick is the
yeah.
real deal. She did
Well,
not just beat Serena, she swept
yeah. Straight
her.
sets.
Straight
And
sets
that's what
in and
surprised me
out.
the most.
Me too.
That's
I
what
thought it was gonna
surprised me
go
the most.
three. I actually
Yeah.
did think she was gonna win. I wanted to bet it, but I left it alone. Um, because her game right now is just on another level, and the athleticism between the two is a gap. So I did think she was going to win, but I thought it was going to come down to a third set.
Well, like what you said, like her officially making it her era. That's why I kind of because, like you said, she beat her back in 2018, but that was an upset. This was not
Yes,
an upset.
not an upset.
this was
None
this
of us
was
are surprised.
dominance.
Yeah,
This was dominance. Like this
yeah,
was different. It
yep,
felt different. It felt different watching
yep,
it. It was like, no, this is her
yep.
exerting herself and saying, "Yo, Serena, I looked up to you, great, but
But it's
I'm
less, it's mines.
yeah,
Yep.
you relax.
And
I'm
you
about
know
to get there."
another reason why it felt a little different? Because we just watched Brady and the old person beat the
Beat
next
the
guy,
younger yeah,
right?
exactly. The
So
one on
you
the come up.
kind of were like, okay, I think Serena, they might follow, and that's just the same thing. We just saw LeBron win another championship. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it was rolling right now. Naomi said, "Forget all
Yeah, I'm me.
that. I'm me. Don't compare me to
Yeah.
Mahomes."
Which it leads me to her comments after, which some people have kind of tried to make a big deal out of. Her basically saying that like nobody remembers the runner up. So she said she brings it different when it's a championship. People are
Mhm.
saying that it's a shot at Serena, but I'm like, unfortunately for Serena, it can't be because Serena's not even the runner up.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not a shot
like
at her at all. No.
yeah, it's not. It's not. But she's talking about what's coming in front of what's in front of her, not what's
Yes,
behind her.
yes. We all are going to focus on that match more than the finals match because I think he's going to kill the girl Brady also. But the athlete, she's not looking at it like that. To her,
Exactly.
the biggest match is the final, and now that's what she's worried about. That's it. She's the runner-up is the person that loses that match. Serena's out. That's
Exactly.
it. It has nothing to do with Serena. She's not talking about her at all.
Exactly.
She's talking about the final and what she expects to do, like to defend her crown. She already won this last year.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People are too Serena centric. Like she's not talking about Serena. Serena's not the runner up. She's talking
Mm-hmm.
about whoever is going to lose to her in the final. Like that's what
Yeah.
she's talking about.
Yeah, man. I like to see, and it's not just because she's an African, well, she's not African American, but she's the person of color. It's not just because of that, but she represents African Americans, Japanese people, a younger generation, and a shift into a whole different era. She
Yeah.
has all of that in one. You know what I mean? And people kind of thought it was going to be Sloane Stevens, but she's kind of fell off a little bit. Coco Golf is younger, so she's probably going to be after Naomi. But Naomi Osaka has a chance to do exactly what Serena and Venus did. I mean, Serena and Venus brought us to the game of tennis. Osaka has the chance to keep us, bring the
And bring
Japanese,
in a whole new generation.
and bring in a younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like we could be looking back 10 years from now and seeing her as big as we see Serena.
Yeah, easily. Not to diminish what Serena did. That's easy, but I just feel like she's that good, and she's already off to that great of a start
She's off to the
to
same
doing
type of
that.
start that Serena had and Venus had. Because I think we forget
Yeah,
how great Venus was too,
yeah.
because her
Mm-hmm.
sister topped her, but Venus had an amazing career also. So she's
Yeah,
right in lockstep of where they were at the same age. And
yeah.
shout out
I
to
mean,
Corday. He won. You won, my man.
yeah. No, he caught that one. That's why. Yeah. Every time I don't keep up with it as much. So every time I forget. But then I'll see like a picture or article, something to mention. I'll be like, oh damn, he did catch that.
He
Like
won.
he caught that one. And that's part of it though. For me, for her and what she can possibly do for the game of tennis, that's a big part of it to me. Of that Corday, her being with Corday and him being, in the midst of hip hop, being one of the young, you know, up and comers in hip hop. That's lock and step with her possibly being able to bring a different audience into tennis.
Oh yeah, because there's going to be people that don't watch tennis at all that'll listen to his music, and he's going to drop a line or two about her in
Exactly.
70% of his songs, and that makes people look into, okay, who is this Osaka he's talking about? Then you find out he's like, oh, she's bigger than him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And that's dope. That's to me. That's dope. And I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Mm-hmm. He just better not blow the bag, bro. Don't blow it.
Oh yeah, nah, don't mess that one up, bro. We all
Yeah,
we
don't
all
mess it
rooting
up.
for you.
Don't go Eric Benet.
Yeah,
Don't be
do
the new
not.
Eric Benet.
You never go Eric Benet.
You keep it up, it'll be my son and your sons. They'll be saying, "Oh, don't be a Corey. If you blow this one, that'd be the line for
Exactly.
them. Don't do it. Hold it down."
Exactly.
I think, but I like that. I always want to see Serena win because she is tracing that elusive 24th
Yeah, that's
master
the
that
only
she can't
downside
get.
to it. Mm-hmm.
But I do like that there's someone new that's coming
That's
and has the
capable
chance
of
to
doing
be
it.
great. Yes,
Because for a
has the
while,
chance to
it
be
didn't
great.
seem like anybody was really capable of beating Serena.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. They tried to say Sharapova was her rival. She dusts Sharapova every time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Then Halep had a little run. She's beaten her a few times. Halep got one, but whatever. It's still Serena. It's still Serena. It's still Serena. Osaka looks like the mountain Serena might not be able to overcome.
Yeah, exactly. She look like the one that's really gonna, you know, take like you said, take the torch, take the mantle,
Mm-hmm.
and do something else, do something more, do something different with it. Now, do I still hope that Serena can sneak in a couple more? Absolutely.
Yeah,
But
just like Tiger Woods. Like we wanted to
yeah,
see him
exactly. Same thing.
catch
Just get a
Nicholson.
couple
Right.
more. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just try to get there a couple more and get it done at some point.
She may
Like
need
people like,
Osaka to bow out of one and just say, "Oh, I'm not playing this tournament."
yeah,
That
I
may
mean,
be what it takes.
yeah, I don't know if she could run up against this Osaka.
I don't think she could beat her. I really don't.
Yeah,
Not
too
at this
many
point.
times. Yeah, especially losing to her twice in a row now.
No, this is twice in the two big in math Grand Slams. She actually did beat her twice in littler tournaments, but that I don't really count it the same
Yeah, I about to say
because
I say
it's
twice in a row as
very
far as
clear that Osaka's a different player when it comes to
yeah,
Grand Slam tournament.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like twice in a
Yeah.
row as far as when it counts,
Mm-hmm.
when it's on the line. Because that is what's great about Osaka. She seems to play differently
Different when it's
when it's
just
that
Grand
time.
Slams. Yep. She's like, oh, these other tournaments, yeah, that's to make money. I make sure I stick around for a little bit, get my bag. But no one's remembering anybody for winning some random tennis tournament unless it's outside the tennis community. For the world, it's Grand Slams. It's the Australian Open. It's the U.S. Open. It's Wimbledon. That's what matters. You know what I mean? And when
Mm-hmm.
those come around, Shorty ready.
Yeah, she be getting it
She's
done, man.
ready.
Getting it done,
It's
man.
it's kind of crazy when you listen to her talk. She's so like quiet. Like she seems like
Reserved,
a
and she seems real
reserved
like.
young lady. But when them lights turned on, that ball and that in court, she balling. It turned into a whole new beast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she is like almost the prototype for what tennis would want. Like as far as in the next star, like she is like you said, a person of color. She got the Asian community. She's a
Hmm.
younger generation, and like you said, she also is kind of like a soft spoken. She's not as loud and boisterous as Serena even was. You remember Serena was like famous for her grunts and her
Ah,
noises when she's
mm,
so and Osaka's not that. She don't have the same loud outfits and cat suits and just a little different. Just bringing something different.
I appreciate Serena for her cat suits. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
no, I'm not mad. Don't get me wrong. Not mad at all. But all right. So let's once again, I mean, of course we're gonna be talking about Naomi for a long time to come. So we'll get back to Naomi and her exploits. But let's talk a little NFL. I guess we could finish off with NFL. We haven't really talked since the Super Bowl um
Hmm.
in depth. So shouts to the Bucks, got it done. Um, but how quickly everything moves right along. We're moving right into off season and the player movement. Um, uh, we got a big one today. Um, Carson Wentz was officially moved on from the Eagles and traded to the Colts, which I think most people thought that's where it was going to end up. At the end of the day, I did think with the hiring of the new coach, I felt like there was a possibility of them continuing on with Wentz, but obviously Wentz had other ideas. I would think that this is because Wentz had other ideas. And the Eagles didn't initiate this, but we never really know.
No, we know. Wentz had other ideas. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think. But
Wentz and the general manager are not on the same page, and I don't think they've been on the same page since he picked Jalen Hurts. And I can't blame Wentz in that realm because the pick never made any sense. If you're committed to your quarterback who's 27 years old, why are you picking another quarterback in the second round? Doesn't make sense. So I understand why he lost a lot of trust and faith in Howie Roseman. Man's missed on draft picks a lot recently, also. But Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. I'm not going to talk differently about him now because he's no longer on my team. I still fully believe that he's going to have a good season next year. I don't think all his struggles this year were because of him, but he has to find a way to become mentally tougher. That is his weakness. It's not football. It's nothing on the field. He can do it all on the field. It's his mental toughness. He could not handle watching his backup win the Super Bowl. He made sure that backup wasn't here anymore. He could not handle them drafting another quarterback. He cannot handle coming fully back. Well, no, I'll give him that. He came back from his injuries and he seems like he rehabbed that more. But whenever there's adversity in terms of his security at his position, he seems to get into his feelings and he's thinking about that more than the game. And you can't be like that as a franchise quarterback. Now, in terms of what we got back for him, unlike a lot of Eagles fans, I actually think they did well because you cannot say the guy had a lot of Eagles fans, oh, Wentz sucks, Wentz this, and then you'd be mad that they didn't get a haul in return. It makes no
yeah,
sense. If you're
yeah,
saying he sucks, how are you getting a haul?
two things can't be true. Yeah,
It
those two
doesn't make
things can't be
sense at
true at the
all. It's
same time.
just silly. Yeah. So to get a third round pick this year, I was hoping it was a second this year, but they got a third round pick this year, and they got I'm going to say a first round pick next year because I do believe he will play 75% of the snaps. He's played 84%. That's his average in his career. And that's even with getting benched this season. So I know everybody always say Wentz is injury prone. And I say that all the time. Like, no, he's not. That's over talked about. He's completed 3 full seasons are now. So I believe he'll play 75% of the snaps and we'll end up getting a first next year and a third this year. That's fine. That's equal return for what he was at the time we traded him. You know what I mean? If he
Yeah,
goes to Indianapolis and he balls out, I think some people will talk about like, oh, the Eagles messed up, oh, the Eagles messed up. But if a player doesn't want to be here, you can't do anything about that.
yeah. I mean, I do think that Wentz will be successful in Indianapolis. I feel like the Colts are set up in a way that he'll be successful. Very, very, very good offensive line. One of the best in football. So the with the Wentz getting hurt thing, I think he'll be okay. Standing behind that line, he'll be a little bit it'll be a little bit less clean at the end of the game than he has been. Not that the Eagles had a bad offensive line, but
Yeah, we
that
had
coach
injuries.
that coach line is impressive.
Their line is just as good as the one we've had every year, but last year, yes. Eagles line got banged up last year, and that's what killed them. But I think, like you're saying, the Colts have everything there for him to succeed.
The
Excuse me. The line's good. Frank
Jonathan
Wright's
Taylor
there.
look
Yeah.
good. Frank Wright. This past year they didn't have any weapons, but to start the season. That's a little bit of a misconception though,
Yeah, they got
because you do
weapons.
have Michael Pittman who emerged, who's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You have Paris Campbell who did get hurt, but
Needs to
if you
stay
get a
healthy. Yeah.
healthy if you get a healthy Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman, Mo Alley Cox, you got some weapons along with
Mm-hmm.
those running backs. And then also you have can't remember his name out of the backfield.
Naeem
Sheesh.
Hines.
Naeem Hines is one of the better receiving
Mm-hmm.
backs in the league. So them not having weapons is a little bit of a misconception. Of course, Ty
Yes,
is
it
not
is.
what he used to be, but
But it doesn't need to be because
yeah,
Pittman's that's the band now. And
yeah,
Pittman is the type of receiver Wentz has had his most success with. He's like Alshon a lot.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, he is that type of a bigger body, down the field,
There's
jump ball type of guy.
there's no Ertz in Indianapolis, and that could be an issue. Like he likes to throw to the tight ends a lot, but outside of that, they have everything in place to succeed, and
But yeah, I
he
mean,
has no excuses. No
they still do
excuses
have
on him.
a couple good tight ends there though. They don't have a
Yeah,
Ertz, but they got a couple good guys.
yeah. What I mean is, when you watch Wentz, when he's in trouble, sometimes you noticed he looked for Ertz. And,
Yeah,
and that could have just been because Ertz is a high level player or because of their relationship off the field. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know if that tight end on their team are going to get open and be that safety valve as much as Ertz was
yeah,
for him. But
yeah.
they have other weapons that the Eagles didn't have. These last 2 years, we had it when his MVP year. Yeah, we had all that. If he played, he has no excuse. So if they go 7-9 next year, people are going to be done with Carson Wentz. It'll be over. But if he bounces back and he goes 11-5, 12-4, take him on a nice playoff run, it'll all work out.
Yeah. I think that I, being a NFC East competitor, I feel like it was a good move for Wentz. I just did Wentz and Philly never really jived to me. To me, being somebody that has faced the Eagles twice a season for quite some time now, he just didn't ever really have that Eagles quarterback, for lack of a better word, toughness or mentality that you guys have had for your quarterbacks in the past.
But
Say what you
what's
want.
the difference from him and the rest of them?
Like I said, it's more so like I said, a mental toughness, mental makeup, a dog in them, kind of like
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
like
Name the quarterbacks of the Eagles that have been successful. You'll get it soon. Name the
ah,
successful quarterbacks.
I see the trend because all the
Yeah.
names I'm gonna say: Randall Cunningham,
Mm-hmm.
Donovan McNabb, Michael
Mm-hmm.
Vick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, needless to say that there's a similarity there, and Now
Mm-hmm.
you guys have that. Now, okay. Before you even say anything, what do
And
y'all
Wentz best year, he played like those guys.
correct? I can say that.
Like I think he's very talented, but I think he was ruined.
So so we're talking about Carson Wentz, and the last time he played, you know, like the prototypical Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. Now you got a guy, Jalen Hurts. He is that that type of player. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about? I've heard rumors, I've heard rumblings about the Eagles possibly going in the draft at 6. You have 6. You guys are 6, right?
Correct.
At 6, and taking another quarterback, perhaps to Justin Fields.
If the Eagles pick a quarterback at 6, they have no plan. That's how I feel. If you're just doing things off the whim at that point. Because if to me, I kind of thought, yeah, you took Hurts, yeah, he was Wentz's backup, but I kind of felt like they picked him thinking either Wentz may get hurt again, or Wentz is not going to fully get back to what they want him to be, and they had it out after next year anyway in the contract. A lot of people that don't follow the Eagles every day like I do don't know that. So
Yeah.
I was looking at it as Hurts was supposed to be the next guy. So if you didn't go and draft another quarterback, that makes no sense to me. It just says then to me that Howie Roseman and the Eagles front office just does things day by day without a full plan. To me, you just ride with Hurts. You find out what you have this season. Let him play the whole season. Let him find out what he is this season. And if it doesn't work out with him, if we have another bad year like this year, that's when you go draft your quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think taking a quarterback, even the Justin Fields type of guy, that's of course, a talent, would be a mistake. That's a mistake because now you're throwing good money after bad at that point. You
You
already no, let alone you already threw good money after bad, but it's mitigated at this point because the Wentz situation. I mean, like I said, as far as a fan perspective and on the field, you guys are okay because you got Hurts, so you'll be okay. But let's not forget that you guys traded up to get him.
we got a lot of that back with the Bradford trade though.
So, you also got to eat a lot of cap space this year
This year,
for his
yep. But
salary.
it
Like,
frees it all up next year. Like they'll have 80
yeah,
million in cap space next year. But like you said,
yeah, that's what
it
I'm saying.
makes no sense to draft another quarterback,
It's throwing another
another asset.
into that situation. Like you got to just
Mm-hmm.
move on now. It's over. Let it be over. Like you said, next year y'all clears up a bunch of cap space. That's when, if Hurts doesn't work, that's when you address that. Right now,
Absolutely.
you go get you a receiver. You go get you a what else y'all need? Y'all need a corner. Whatever y'all need,
Jamar Chase.
go get that now because chasing this one situation, this quarterback situation is nothing good's gonna come of that. To me, I don't think that nothing good comes of
Right
it.
now, yeah. All right. In my opinion, but I know I'm a fan, so I can be biased. In my opinion, drafting Carson Wentz and everything they did to draft Carson Wentz was a success. They don't win a Super Bowl without him. They don't. Does not happen
That goes
if
back into
Carson.
something I want to talk about another topic for another time. I want to talk about when people say some teams have failed, um, like teams that are projected to be dynasties that don't end up being dynasties and they consider it a failure. I
Mhm.
always say I don't think that anything's a failure as long as it results in a championship. I don't care what you have to do in sports. The goal is to win a championship, not multiple
Absolutely.
championships. It's to get that championship. Because you can't have
Absolutely.
multiple championships without getting a championship.
Without the one.
So that's a topic for another time. Because I got examples I want to bring up and things like that. But um, yeah, and I agree. The Wentz thing can't be a failure because without him, y'all don't get to that Super Bowl. I
Mm-mm.
agree, hands
Like
down.
people want to not give him his credit. I know they're upset with how it ended and all of that. Cool. But that year, he started it all. He sparked that run. I mean, yes, it started. You got to say yes. The free agent signings, adding Alshon, adding Brandon Brooks, all that type of stuff helped too. LeGarrette Blunt traded for Ajayi. Yes, all that helped too. But without Wentz playing like a superstar, you don't get home field advantage. And that's how you won. Because if he gets hurt without home field advantage, Nick Foles, I know he won the Super Bowl. I know he was on fire. I don't know if he could have went to New Orleans or to Minnesota or even to Atlanta the round before and still won those games. I know what the Eagles crowd and that atmosphere is like in a wintertime environment, and it can overwhelm another team. And it definitely did that in the NFC Championship game. If you remember that game, the Vikings started off hot. They scored in the first drive. They stopped us on the first drive we had. They were driving again. They threw a pick six. Everything swung on them. The crowd got into it. Foles and them got on a truck or roll, and it rolled. That's how it happened. But the home field advantage played a big part, and you don't get home field without wins.
Yeah, like I said, I don't disagree. So like you said, it's not a failed situation. It's to me, it's still pending. If Jalen Hurts works out, y'all able to go in this draft here. Y'all got an extra pick now. Y'all can build up some of that, some of that talent that you guys have lost and then turn it over. Next year, you might possibly even have another number one pick. Who knows how the coach, what goes on with the coach? So, there's definitely an opportunity for this to work out in a good way, and we'll see that. But now, I want to move on from the Wences. But not, I mean, that's the newest one. But we've had the Matt Stafford movement.
Yep.
It seems like this is the year that quarterbacks are moving. So, who do you think
Way
is
more
next?
than we've ever seen.
Yeah, what's the
I
next
actually
drop?
think Sam Darnold is probably next, or Derek Carr if Oakland's serious about that. Oakland seems like they're only going to trade him if someone gives him a great offer, and I don't know if that happens for Carr. So I think it's Darnold next because I do think the Jets are picking a quarterback at 2, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. Or they're going to try to put Darnold in a package for Watson. I did not say Watson's next because I think Houston's pretty serious about not trading him.
Seems like it. Now, I do think he eventually does get moved, but I see this dragging out.
Yeah, not by the draft. I don't think he gets moved by the draft. Maybe he gets moved in training camp if he doesn't show up. But is he that type of guy?
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if he's gonna go that far with it. I know he wants out. I know he's upset right now. But when you start getting fined big money and you haven't started making your big money yet, it could get dicey. You know what I mean? Like it could get dicey, especially for a kid who comes from the situation he come from. So, I mean, it's a lot of money for people that never had that type of money. When you see a $50,000 fine, shit, that could change your thought process a lot. And that's not one day, that's every time you don't show up. So I think Houston is probably very serious, and they should be, to be honest. Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback in the league. You don't just give that away, even though they could get a great return.
But that's what I'm saying. I think at some, I understand that, but at some point you got to start thinking about that return. You have to switch your gears to thinking about, all right, so if he's not happy here, why keep him? Let's get what we can get for him. Bring in somebody that is happy here, and let's win with them.
Yeah, I think it gets to that point too, but it only happens if he doesn't show up. So that's why I don't think that's next, and I don't think it happens before the draft. Question was next, and I say Darnold.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with what you're saying there. I don't think that it happens. Like I said, I think it drags out. I don't think it happens soon. Darnold, I can see. I don't know. Like from day to day, like a lot of the quarterback movement is so fluid. I don't really know what
Darnold brand new. We haven't seen nothing like this before.
Because to me, Darnold depends on every team where I kind of got him projected. It depends on what they want to do with their quarterback. Because you got the Niners, who I thought might be a spot for him. You got to see what they're going to do with Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got another spot. I've seen Oakland. What they can do with Carr. What they're going to do with Mariota.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Mariota only had a 1-year deal. He's a free agent.
That's true.
Yeah.
But do they
Then you
want
got, I've seen the Bears. If they
Bears?
didn't get Wentz, they might focus on Darnold. Because they didn't pick up Trubisky's fifth-year option, so he's a free agent. They still have Foles, but we saw that didn't work. So they're there, and I know that they really wanted Wentz, but it seems like Wentz didn't want them, so that kind of affected what they were offering. So I think that they would have no issue giving up something to get Darnold. It won't be anything, probably a second-round pick this year, or kind of something like a second this year and a third next year along those lines, with a condition in there to move it up if Darnold plays at a certain level. The Bears could probably pull that. But to the Bears, the question is, do they really believe in him? Because they have to find a quarterback. They don't have one. And they have a team that's on the verge, relatively. I know you may lose Allen Robinson, but that defense is very good. David Montgomery had a pretty good season. Their line's not bad. They just need the quarterback. And the coach and the general manager are on the hot seat. So they have to find someone.
They got to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing back Trubisky's not going to be it. So they got to
That's
make
not
something
it.
happen.
No one's accepting that.
Yeah.
Should have never drafted him where they drafted him. Deshaun Watson should be wearing a Bears jersey. It makes no sense that he's not, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. I think, and that was I think the only people that thought that might work was in Chicago.
Was them. That's it.
Yeah.
Made no sense. They even traded up for the Bull.
Yeah, they traded up for Trubisky, but they could have just.
Like, I don't never bring Mahomes up, because Mahomes at that time, yes, he was seen as a first-round pick, but it was still kind of mysterious around him. He was coming from an air raid offense with Clint Kingsbury at Texas Tech, all of that type of stuff. So
there was a lot of questions.
Bring up Watson because there were no questions. We saw it for 3 years, 2 championships back to back, won one, lost one. We saw it. There was no need to even overthink that. Myles Garrett went number 1. Cool, whatever. The Browns probably should have took Watson 1, in my opinion, but they didn't. Myles Garrett's a great player, though, so whatever. But the next quarterback, the first quarterback was supposed to be Watson.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and he's proven that. So that's not really even nothing to talk about. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to note that the amount of quarterbacks that could possibly move in this offseason. It's just, we've never seen anything like this.
It's a position where there's usually no movement at quarterback. Not starting quarterbacks. You see some backups move around here and there.
Exactly.
Brady, that was pretty big last year, but that was a one-off. This year, we've now seen 3 guys that started for their team dealt.
Yeah, to different places. And we know
the Rams gave up. Hold on. You understand? The Rams gave up another first-round pick just to get rid of Goff.
And they traded up to get Goff.
And they didn't have a Bradford like we did to get picks back. Like, their situation is totally different than ours. Like, I feel like Goff, yes, they got to the Super Bowl, but I kind of feel like Goff and the Rams was a bust. I know they got there.
Yeah,
but
they didn't get it.
Didn't win it. And they didn't get there because of him.
Yeah,
We got there because of Wentz. You know what I mean? They got there because of Todd Gurley and Aaron Donald. We got there because of Wentz. Yes, they're both traded now in the same offseason, which is crazy. But I think when we look at it in hindsight, it's 2 totally different situations where Goff was always like, he's okay, but whereas Wentz was great.
It was a minute where he was like, oh, okay, Goff might be. But then it kind of just went right back to being, yeah.
He's always been to me. I always thought it was Gurley. When Gurley was at his best, you had to focus so much on him that it allowed Goff's game to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Patriots exposed him. They exposed him to just don't call the defense until after the headset goes off, and he has no clue what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and like I said, you got down to that. Is that back in Dallas? Is he franchise tag? Is he moved? It's like it's so many variables. This offseason it's something that we've never seen before. Because from what I heard, the Panthers already preparing an offer of including Christian McCaffrey
Well, no, that was
for.
Fugazi. That was Fugazi.
Oh, that wasn't real.
Yeah, that was
okay.
a suggestion on a radio show in Carolina that somebody
Okay.
ran with.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that was
included Bridgewater,
McCaffrey, all
and
of
picks.
that.
I'm like,
nah. If you're Watson, you're gonna be like, oh well, that's like what I got in Houston.
yeah, exactly. Who am I playing with?
Like, why are you giving up the world? Like, yeah, okay, I have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, cool, but you're giving up McCaffrey, you're giving up 3 round 1 picks. Like, nah, that wasn't real. I can see the 3 round 1 picks, but you don't add McCaffrey to that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
they
like
want a player though. I would maybe I'd do DJ Moore before I did McCaffrey.
Yeah. I mean, you got, possibly moving Teddy Bridgewater for, I don't Teddy Bridgewater's situation in Carolina is very fluid too. To me, I think that, we can see him. Like I said, I don't know if there's 10 quarterbacks in the league that jobs are safe now.
10. Can we name 10? Mahomes, Stafford, because he's already there. Matt Ryan, he's safe. He's not getting
safe
traded, but his
in that he'll be there. But
yeah, his
replacement is probably going to get drafted.
Yeah, so Joe Burrow is safe. Herbert is safe.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's safe. Wow.
Is Baker safe? Might be.
Baker's safe. They just made a playoff. They just won a playoff game.
I think
Ryan Tannehill is safe. Brady. Aaron Rodgers, we're tripping. That was to the number 1. Russell Wilson's safe unless he causes trouble.
I was about to say he's safe, except he seemed like he might want to move.
I think he just put some pressure on them to sign offensive line.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like, unless he rumbles real loud again, unless he forces it, he's safe. They're not trading him. Kyler Murray's safe. Lamar.
Yeah.
It's probably 10 or 11. That's about it, but it's way more than it ain't.
There's so many more that's not. And it's funny just going through those guys. You kind of just think about the other guys. You're like, damn, it's a lot of guys that's like Washington. Does Washington have a quarterback? Does the Washington football team have a quarterback as of right now?
Heineke, that's not having a quarterback in my opinion, but they paid him. They paid him backup money, really, 2 years, $8 million. They didn't give him anything real, but that's the only person they have on roster right now. Yeah,
I'm like, wow. I'm like, think about them. You think about
the Giants, Daniel Jones. Do they really? I think they may give him another year to prove it. Like Barkley got hurt this year. They kind of had some steps forward more because of their defense and the coach more than him. But I think they'll give him another chance. But it's not like anything firm there.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a hell of an offseason, man. Gonna be a hell of an
it's already started. It's already started. Kirk Cousins.
And good luck.
That's the one I think could be sneaky that might happen. I can see because San Francisco likes Cousins, and we know why. The Shanahan connection with Washington, all that. If they make a strong enough offer, and then they included Garoppolo, I actually think Minnesota would think about it.
I think 100%. I think 100%. I think Minnesota has always liked Cousins. I never known they did pay him, like they love him, but I don't know if they love Cousins. I always felt that like they liked Cousins.
I think he was just the best at the time. There was no one else really
like him. He's cool. He's good. He's a good player.
Wasn't nothing else to do.
Love him. If that's their guy, I never really got that from that situation.
How could you, man? He's only made the playoffs once, won one playoff game, but the other 2 times they didn't make playoffs. Yeah. You got weapons galore over there. Like, there's no reason that team should not have been a playoff team this year. You understand? Like, Dalvin Cook played all year. Monster. Justin Jefferson broke records.
To the point where I default at them as a playoff team until I remember that they actually didn't make the playoffs.
Didn't make it.
Like I think of them as a playoff team, and they really did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, like, and I know people are like, oh, it wasn't him, though. It was their defense, blah, blah, blah. But when you have an offense, like, all right, I'm going to use the Cowboys. If Dak doesn't get hurt, even though they have a bad defense, Dak would have got them in the playoffs.
Yeah, we would have won the division. I mean, obviously, look at the division, but we did enough.
Even in a regular year, forget our division. Even in a regular, if he had to get 9-7 or 10-6, Dak would have been good enough because he was scoring 30 or 40. As long as y'all didn't have like the defense fully fall apart,
yeah,
he could have got it done. We don't say that about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no. Kirk Cousins, you win because Kirk Cousins doesn't make
a mistake. He doesn't win it for you. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's sad. But hey, that's their problem, not mine.
Like I said, this offseason is gonna be crazy because the craziest part is it's a lot of other positional free agents to move around.
Big ones too. Big ones.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that's not even nobody's talking about that. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, like we haven't seen a wide receiver class. I don't know if there's ever been a wide receiver free agency class like this one. Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, Chris Godwin, Juju Smith-Schuster. Who?
AJ Green.
He's done. But yeah, his name is big. But he's fried.
I don't know that AJ Green is done. I don't know that. Or was he dogging it because he didn't want to be there? Remember, he didn't even want to be there to start this season. I don't know that AJ Green is done 100%. I don't know. Because before the injury, AJ Green was an elite wide receiver. You can all say that, right?
Yep, elite.
So he got hurt.
2 times.
Came back.
He missed 2 years basically though.
Yeah. But he did not want to come back as a Bengal.
Nah, not this year. They franchise tagged and forced him.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not willing to say that AJ Green is not. If I needed a receiver, which of any team in the league, I don't. But if I needed a receiver, I would take a chance on AJ Green.
I mean, you'd be able to get him for a lower number than the other guys like Chris Godwin, Kenny Galladay, Allen Robinson, Will Fuller. They're going to get paid. Well, I don't know about Will Fuller after the steroid thing, but you know what I mean? You know where I'm going. Like, the top of that, Juju's the other guys. They're going to get paid.
Yeah.
Galladay and Kenny Galladay, Allen Robinson, and Godwin are going to get big-time monster money. You don't have to pay that to AJ Green. So, it is worth a flyer, but I think it has to be a team that already kind of – the Ravens are a type of team that should probably take that chance. Like, they don't need a receiver to make them a champion, but if they got a big-time receiver, it would help. If they got a guy that gave them 1,000 yards along with Marquise Brown doing whatever he does, he was improved last year, they would take another leap, and it would help Lamar's growth as a quarterback.
Like I said, AJ Green is a guy I always looked at. This year, I kind of just wrote him off. Like, it's not that I didn't think he was done. I just felt like he didn't want to be there, and it's not like they needed him.
Mm-hmm. Like I saw what's the name? The Dolphins. Well, they want Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. They need a receiver for sure. They need receivers, plural.
I think they only need one. Devontae Parker's good.
I never trusted Devontae Parker. Never.
I don't trust him as like my guy, but if I got him and Allen Robinson, I feel like my receivers are pretty good.
But I don't even think he functions well as a number 2. I think
he's never had to do it yet.
He functions worse. I don't think that was I'm getting me a couple of receivers. Devontae Parker is good for my.
But they already paid him.
I would keep him. I'm keeping him. I would have AJ. Well, say you get Allen Robinson, right? You get Allen Robinson on one side, keep Devontae Parker on the other outside. You get you a nice slot. What they do? Who did they get?
Grant.
Didn't they have a? Yes.
His last.
So they do have a good slot. Yeah, they do have a good slot.
Yeah, they need one receiver.
I stand corrected. They got a decent slot. So, yeah, but you want him to be your third guy. You want Devontae Parker to be your third guy. Throw him the ball up.
Out of that money. I want to see where Corey Davis ends up because, the first couple years of his career were shaky. He didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so he's free this year, but he's coming off a big year.
Yeah,
now, is that big year because it was a contract year and he did more, or did he finally turn the corner?
I think having AJ Brown helped him more than anything. Yeah, I don't know.
Why not last year though? Why did it take till this year?
Well, he started last year. Towards the end of last year, when AJ Brown, because remember, AJ
Okay, you're
Brown's a
saying
rookie.
once AJ Brown emerged and it took the spotlight off of Davis,
He
was
became
able to do more. So what that
yeah.
says is Davis is only a number 2, and if you pay him like he's your number 1, you're gonna get fool's
Yeah,
gold.
you might play yourself. Yeah, you might play yourself. I think he's a number 2. I think he's a number 2. I think he showed that.
Yeah,
Some
like
guys are just that guy, number
yeah,
2 receivers. That's just it's not nothing bad. It's just
like
that's who they are.
Baltimore shouldn't be calling Corey Davis and expecting him to be the guy.
No, we're not doing that. Well, they shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know if they will, but yeah, I
they
agree
should.
with that.
It's not a good idea. But
It's a
there's
lot.
enough
Like Patrick Peterson's a free agent.
Yeah.
They talk about Von Miller getting bought out. Not bought out, but his option not getting picked up.
I think.
Yep. It's some guys out there. Like it's some players.
The quarterbacks is gonna have all the headlines, but it's gonna be a lot of movement that happened up under that. That's gonna change some teams.
Aaron Jones, and we know the Packers don't like paying running backs, so he might be gone.
AJ Dillon already killed that.
Yeah, but I don't think AJ Dillon's Aaron Jones, but that's on them.
No, I'm not saying, but
I know you're not, but the Packers are.
Yeah,
I know that's not what you say, but the Packers are.
Yeah,
they picked them in the second round. Yeah, but whatever.
You can play yourself
Chris
on that.
Carson,
The Packers.
Chris Carson's going to be a free agent. Like it's some movement. And that's why I look at the Eagles.
Mike Davis. Don't forget about Mike Davis, who balled this year with
in that role.
McCaffrey hurt.
Yep. That's why I being an Eagles fan. It's like, damn, we got the 1 year, we got no money, and it's loaded.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, same here, bro. I got a quarterback to pay.
Hey, I think that's probably why the Colts didn't add Ertz to the deal too, because they wanted to leave some money open up because they had a lot of money, but they got to pay Wentz now. That's probably why they didn't want both of them, because they want to see what they can do otherwise. Like,
I heard that it's going to be a package deal too.
Imagine
which I thought
it would have got us a better return, but I think the Colts probably were like, we want to leave money open. Like, imagine if they signed Juju.
Yeah.
Pittman, Juju, Paris Campbell. With Wentz. That's serious.
I mean, we're going to be talking about this for the next, 4 months?
We got, what's this? Now, free agency is like 3 weeks away, man.
Yeah, but we still, again, free agency is not going to be it. Because then you got free agency, then you got the draft, then you got after the
Sure.
It's going to be a lot.
The big names all the guys we just named, they'll be gone at the beginning of free agent. But yeah, you'll see things happen all the way until training camp.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of movement going on. It's the type of stuff I live for. So,
Same.
But anyway, man, we'll leave it at that. We'll pick it back up next week. I'm sure we got a lot to talk about. I was watching, the game. I got the game on in the background and on the halftime. The inside the NBA guys are already talking about the All-Star reserves. So I'm like,
Yep.
Here it goes already. But we'll hold off on that, man. I'm gonna deliberate. I'm gonna deliberate a little bit. The end of the bench is always the hardest thing about.
Yeah, because who you gonna leave off? It's always a lot of guys deserving.
The starters.
It's gonna be interesting to see if the Sixers get all 3 or if only 2 of them make it.
Yeah, very, very. I think the one I just saw might have had all 3. I think they had some events about on the bench. I forget. I think they were showing Kenny's. I might be lying.
If Doc is the coach, I think we get all 3.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
But if Brooklyn catches us and he gets it, I think we only get 1.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, man, we're getting out of here, man. I appreciate everybody checking us out. Any last things you want to bring up, or any topics you got before we get out of here?
Nope, it's Jalen Hurts. Let's go.
I mean, I love to see it. I ain't gonna lie. Same division, but I do love to see it. He's a guy I root for. I bang with Hurts.
Yep.
Now, if we're gonna have Dak is the question. I don't know. I'm incomplete.
I'd be baffled if he's not a Cowboy. I will not be baffled if y'all don't sign him. I think he's gonna get franchise tagged again, which is fucked up, but that's just what I think is gonna happen. And then he's gonna leave.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're almost forced at
You
that point
can't
to leave.
franchise him twice and think he's coming back.
Yeah. But hey, man, we're gonna get out of here, man. Catch us next time. Join the conversation. Check us out on Twitter, IG, YouTube at About That Sports Life, ABTDATSPRTLIFE, Facebook on About That Sports Life. Email any questions, comments, topics at info at About That Sports Life. And make sure you check out replays of the show on our website, www.aboutthatsportslife.com. And our YouTube, About That Sports Life.
Peace.
All right, bro. Later.